probably against France here at Lansdowne Road, which could put them against, say, the All Blacks in a semi-final. That would be great for Irish rugby, and that would be just the platform, the springboard that they need to sort of launch into the new century.
Well, you were saying before the break, and before British Eurosport viewers joined us, of course, the Australians are in this group. And their turn of fortune over the last 3 or 4 months with that victory against the All Blacks, I mean, they really are a side to watch right the way through this competition, aren't they?
Without doubt. And I mean, that victory was without Eales and Larkham, 2 key players, as we see the United States team emerge. But I think what that victory has done is not just given Australia wonderful hope of winning the World Cup, hope that New Zealand won't be first and daylight second. I think it's given everyone hope, and especially the English, who've just had a convincing victory over Italy, and of course meet the All Blacks in 1 week's time at Twickenham.
So the emergence of the United States Eagles. Dan Lyle, the Bath number 8, very conscious of the fact that after that huge defeat by England, 106 points to 8 in August, he's got a major task on his hands here. Only 4 full-time professionals in the United States team. Tom Billups, the hooker, well, he plays for Pontypridd. Dave Hodges for Llanelli. Lyle himself. And the Irish about to come out to a half-empty stadium, but to a huge roar, I'm sure. Being led by Dion O'Quinnigan. This giant number 8 forward, a former South African schools international, who found he couldn't get in the Western Province side in his native South Africa. But he had qualification to join Ireland, and now he's totally and utterly committed to seeing Ireland go all the way in this competition. But there's a long, long way to go. It's quite windy down there on the pitch. It's very breezy up here in the commentary box. We were just saying that by the time we get to about 8:30 or so, the temperature will have dropped considerably.
We've got blue skies, a wonderful carpet-like covering with the grass, but very, very windy, and that will make for some tough conditions. The wind is really swirling and quite strong as we stand by for national anthems.
Well, we said just before that David Humphreys, the fly half for Ireland, now he is a man, taking into account this wind and so on, and his kicking ability. He's a very good handler of the ball too, but he will want to control this game, won't he?
Without doubt. I think it's very important that Tom Tinney, the scrum half, and Humphreys, as you mentioned, do control a possession, that they use the ball well. They probably won't look to push it wide too early, but certainly as the match progresses, one would hope that they can play an expansive game, but they really have to mix it up in preparation for the big match against Australia in 1 week's time. We do anticipate Ireland to win. A lot of the punters are saying 20 to 30 points. They should get right on top, up front, especially in the scrum. And America, the United States, have conceded that they'll struggle at the scrum. I've heard from their assistant coach, Roger Gould, an Australian friend of mine, played many tests for Australia, that we might see some very interesting and exciting tactics from the United States in trying to counter the more professional Irish.
Well, for those of you who missed it, of course, a big victory for England over Italy at Twickenham today. And I suppose there are teams in the World Cup who can be considered as minnows when it comes to rugby union. Italy was certainly one of those in that category, although having said that, they're joining the 5 nations to make it a 6 nations championship next year. But this really is going to be a battle of David against Goliath here today, or it should be.
It should be indeed, and Ireland will be disappointed if they don't run away with this. That said, the United States in their qualifying games in the Pac Rim Championships had victories over Tonga and Fiji, and we saw what Fiji did to Namibia in Béziers. So they'll be spirited and they'll certainly tackle. They'll put their hearts into this, but Ireland should be able to control it and get away with the victory.
And Canada too against France for a little while today.
They certainly have a go, the Canadians.
So the national anthems, the prelude to what should be a very tough encounter indeed. certainly may have underestimated that 25,000 ticket figure, because the stadium really is filling up now. I know the gates were open quite early and tickets were still available.
We've got Island Call now, the famous Irish song. Resurrected, very passionate song this.
Well, Paul Wallace and the rest of the guys really pumped up. I think it's fair to say, Nick, the first 10 minutes, we can expect Ireland to really take it to the United States.
Yeah, one would think so. They've got to stamp their real authority here. But the United States won't lie down. They're one of the more physical teams, like France found out against Canada earlier today.
Well, two former captains in that pack, Paddy Johns and Keith Wood.
Yeah, there's plenty of experience in that pack, especially up front. Some people regard that as the best front row in international rugby.
As far as the United States are concerned, if you add all their caps together in comparison to the Irish, well, you have to say they're inexperienced. Brian Hightower on the wing there at number 11. He's one of the most experienced, a very tough customer indeed. And his opposite winger, Vi Anitoni, the United States record holder for scoring tries in international matches, 25 during his career. Ireland ready for the Rugby World Cup 1999. A very important match for them indeed. It's odds on that they're going to win this one. But in the final analysis, well, the rules in terms of who goes through to which stage of the competition, there are pages and pages in terms of the number of tries scored, the number of people sent off in an international match, etc., etc. So big points on the board is what is required here today.
Yeah, it certainly can be crucial. Those little elements, the rules that govern the World Cups. And for Coach Gatland and those 15 out there, World Cups are about building momentum. It starts for these guys tonight. They've been waiting for a long while. They'll be chafing at the bit.
Well, of course, we've mentioned Australia. The fourth team in Group E is Romania. They've had problems over the last few years. They used to be quite a force in world rugby, and they used to take on some of the best teams in the world and give them a game. But I think times have changed.
Yeah, it seems so. I think professional rugby has overtaken them. I can certainly remember Australia playing Romania in the 95 World Cup at Stellenbosch, where I was commentating that match. And I think at half-time, Australia led by a miserly 3-0. Joel Dumais, the French referee, had a lot of experience, gets a big applause as he comes onto the field, looks relaxed. He's going to have to be on his ball, I think, because I think we're in for a bit of a pressure cooker start.
I'm sure we are. Ed Morrison from England on the far side of the pitch, and Steve Lander, the other touch judge. And Joel Dumais taking charge here of his 12th international, his second World Cup competition. And it's David Humphreys who's going to kick off for the home side, Ireland. Well, already a bit of a break on here. Keith Wood it is, his first charge of the game. Head down, stays low. Good pick up there by Tom Tierney, the scrum half. Just outside the United States 22. Well, certainly no shortage of passion out there, is there?
Yeah, no, it reminded me of our start in 91. Ireland kicked off and it was on, an all-in brawl early on. But Keith Wood, wonderful charge. Doesn't he love that, just to get involved, the Irish number 2.
He certainly does. He's one of the tallest hookers in the world, and he really can run like a sprinter. And Diarmaid Quinnigan right at the back at number 8 for Ireland, his opposite number Dan Lyle. There'll be a hard battle to be fought there, I'm sure, today.
Interesting to see the United States looking maybe to play it on the left there. Their number 8's offset, didn't get the ball in quick enough. I think the ruling will be they've been penalised 10. Still a short arm, they should go quickly, Ireland.
Well, this is Tierney, hands on to his lock forward. Paddy Johns, who drives on. Tierney's looking for a quick release here to Humphreys. They come on the wild side, and it's Keith Wood. He couldn't quite get it away to Matt Mostyn.
Pick it up.
Ireland spread wide, and the centre goes charging through. Kevin Maggs, 5 metres out from the United States line. Good pick up there by Trevor Brennan. Tierney once again to Humphreys, slips it back inside. That went to Matt Mostyn. A good start by Ireland. 3 metres out now. The prop forward goes charging on. The British Lion, Paul Wallace. And there's the first penalty of the game.
Just too much pressure, that phase after phase after phase. The very experienced Mark Williams conceding the penalty. But it was either going to be 5 or 7 points, or this 3. Tremendous build-up, great control from Ireland. That's what it's about in these windy conditions. Just take it up, advance the possession, and control it.
Well, judging from the direction of the flags, which you can't quite see on that picture, Ireland kicking against the wind in this half. And David Humphreys going through his usual routine. He actually wears a scrum cap these days, and he always takes that off before slotting a penalty. Ireland's first points in the World Cup.
Yeah, I was down on the pitch prior to the kickoff, and it really is a swirling breeze. It bounces off the stands. It does swirl very much, and it's going to be a difficult breeze to play in. Handling will be crucial, as will be the kicking and playing for field position. The United States have to get some possession. They really haven't touched the ball so far.
Well, this is via Anatoni, man I was telling you about right at the beginning of the game. He's the big try scorer, or the big hope for tries in the United States team. He's a real flyer on the wing. Sends it deep into the Irish 22. Good pick up there, though, by the scrum half Tierney. And blasted away by Humphreys. I was just about to say, Nick, this pitch is in absolutely magnificent condition, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I don't think the conditions have been too harsh. We've just come out of the autumn, of course, and a fairly pleasant summer, I understand. So groundkeepers have done an excellent job. It must be one of the best surfaces I've seen in World Rugby.
Well, Dave Hodges, the number 6, right at the back of the line, plays for Llanelli, United States back row player, and right at the back of the